Guys, the Cavs have 3 games left in the season. They're in a weird spot here. They're a game back of the Knicks. The Knicks are the 3 seed, and in theory, the 3 seed's going to have to play Boston in the second round. Obviously, Detroit's been the best team this year, but most people would rather play Detroit than Boston. We'll see if that turns out to be smart. The Cavs, 50-29. You see Atlanta has no chance to catch the Cavs. Now, what you don't see in that graphic is that team 6 through 10 are right behind Atlanta. Like, if Atlanta lost out, they might fall into the play-in round, which they don't want to. The question is, do we believe, like we on the outside think, well, I don't want to play the Celtics in the second round. Do we think the Cavs feel that way? What do you think?
I think the Cavs should feel that way.
Right?
Absolutely.
But do you think they do?
I think
or
they
they're
do.
like, you don't think as a good team you should just be like, whoever we play, we play?
Yeah, you probably should feel that way,
Yeah.
but I think you need to live in this situation, and that's where this gets complicated because you don't want to ever just outright tank a game. And we're into April. The Cavs have not had their full roster. They're trying to feel things out. Like, you would love to play at least in one of these games, and maybe they will end up playing in one of these. But I think the Cavs.
So what's the bet tonight, Zach? The first half money line Cavs.
I haven't really thought of
what
that.
What is the
regard.
spread?
First quarter. Maybe?
It's basically a pick 'em.
It's a 1.5 spread.
Yeah, there's a chance that everyone for the Cavs plays.
Yeah.
It could be the first time all season they've had their entire rotation. The Hawks have been the hottest team in the NBA. I know they lost to the Knicks earlier this week. However, they've won 18 of their last 22 games. They have completely climbed out of the play-in into a situation where they're the most likely 5 seed when this all ends. And it could be a potential playoff preview series for both teams. So how much is each team going to show when they play each other? Not just tonight.
Makes it tricky, too.
Not just tonight, but then Friday again.
Right. Tonight's game's at home, and then Friday's in Atlanta, and then they come home Sunday for
Wizards.
Washington.
Oh, yeah, who's terrible. Right.
They're basically going to do a raffle like you can play.
Yeah, right. Don't the Knicks and Celtics play each other?
Tomorrow night.
They play tomorrow night.
I think the Knicks are home for the rest of the season.
The Knicks are home in that game. I can tell you their final
I'm pretty
schedule.
sure they got all home games.
Who wants to win that game? I mean, Celtics won't be.
I don't think Boston cares.
They won't be playing anybody.
Well, they want to be home court in that 2-3 with the Knicks if they play the Knicks.
Yeah. Look,
the Celtics are the team to beat. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and the
about
Celtics are the team to avoid. So if you're the Cavs in this situation, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at it in a realistic manner.
But the guys on the court, they're not going to lose.
So why not play the starters the first half and then bench them?
Yeah.
Right. I think I think there's ways to do it
Treat
without.
it like it's an exhibition, like in NFL. Like you play the starters in the first 2 quarters, then.
I've said the most important days to the Cavs to me, obviously ahead of the start, are next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when they're practicing, when they know who they're playing, when this weird stretch has been over and they can focus in on doing it there. So you can use this time. Guys, they haven't had their full. It's game 80. They haven't had their full lineup, right?
Yeah.
But in the fourth quarter, I would be playing Craig Porter and Thomas Bryant. That's what I would do, and I would not apologize for it, and nor do I think that Kenny Atkinson has to if it goes that way. I don't know that it's going to go that way, but I don't think he would.
Well, he's thinking about it. He's got to be considering the,
Sure, organizationally, right?
Yeah.
This is not like Game 50, hey, should we sit Jared Allen tonight? His ankle hurts a little bit.
Right.
This is not Game 40, hey, one of these next 6, we got to get Donovan a night off.
Yeah.
This is, we're here. We've earned this. We've built for this. We've paid for this.
Yeah.
Let's avoid Boston if we have an opportunity.
By the way, Atlanta in the first round is going to be no cakewalk.
No.
That's not going to.
Nor should it be.
I know we're all going to pick the Cavs to win, but if the Hawks beat the Cavs in the first round, that's not a stunner. They're not going to be a massive underdog, I don't think.
I think they'll be a significant underdog, but I agree. Not a massive.
I mean, I guess I would.
It's not like our situation last year where they played Miami. That's all. Where you knew they were going to win.
Right. It was just a complete, total mismatch.
Yes.
I would be stunned if the Cavs lost to the Hawks in the series.
Yeah.
After all these moves they've made and after how they played, I'd be stunned. Yeah, I would be. To lose in the first round?
I mean, I'd be disappointed.
Well, look, what's dangerous about it, right? The Hawks score. The Hawks are young, nothing to lose. All the pressure's on the Cavs.
Right.
Can't find us.
They added C.J. McCollum for that veteran presence.
Yeah.
He's still making shots, still getting buckets. But the rest of the guys are young, they're new to this, and they're going to embrace that philosophy.
Right.
All the pressure's on the Cavs. I think Atlanta probably wants to be the 5, should want to be the 5, because they're thinking, hey, we can win, and then we'd rather play Detroit than Boston.
Right, that's true, too.
So I think the next 2 nights, or tonight and Friday, you're going to get Atlanta's best effort. And if it goes that way and the Hawks win, the Cavs should be just fine with it. And we'll see you next Saturday or Sunday back here.
One thing with the Hawks, real quick.
Yeah.
The 2 things that have given Cavs issues over the last 3 seasons, essentially, with this makeup of the team have been long, athletic wings and teams that can shoot the 3. Since the Trae Young deal, Atlanta's the 5th best three-point shooting team in the NBA in terms of three-point makes per game, and they have 4, 5, 6 wings that have the length and athleticism that have given the Cavs issues in the past. I would not pick Atlanta over the Cavs in this series. I think the Cavs should not. They should respect Atlanta, but by no means should fear Atlanta in the first round.
Last year, you would have thought 99% the Cavs win the series against Miami.
99.9%.
This year, what is it? 60? 70?
I would go 70, but I'm more confident in the Cavs than other people are. So right. I would hear if someone said 60-ish, 55, 60. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's crazy. I'm just more confident with the Cavs.
Look, if it was starting tomorrow, if tonight was a playoff game, I would say Cavs in 6 or 7. That would be my that would be my
whereas
prediction.
Against Miami,
and I would not expect it to be easy from game 1 to game 6.
Right. But in the end, you'd expect the Cavs to win.
I would.
I think that's how I feel.
Based on being a little older, being a little better.
Yeah,
sure.
And the thing about the Eastern Conference is nobody gets benefit of the doubt outside of Boston. Not one team in this postseason.
Sure.
Because what has Detroit done? What have the Cavs done? What have the Knicks done?
Yeah.
I guess the Knicks have gotten to an Eastern Conference final at least.
Yeah. No, the Hawks are fascinating because they made the moves and they went on this big run. They're hot.
Yeah.
They make shots. They got that mix.
And Indiana last year, they had proven nothing before last year.
Yeah, I'm happy for CJ McCollum just to get that. When I think about my favorite Glen Oak Hall of Famers from Glen Oak High School, I think CJ McCollum, Derek Fox, TJ Sutton.
Absolutely.
And I think the list ends
That's
there.
the list.
Brian Hartline. Dan Deerdorf.
My list stops at 3 or 4.
That was low. Picking your brother, too.
I thought you were going to say Chad Sponseller or something.
Every time I go in there, I send him a picture of the plaque.
Okay. Are there any youngsters that have come out in the last couple of years that have a chance? Or no?
I don't know.
The football team's not very good.
Zach would know
right
more
now.
than me. I mean,
The football team not good?
No,
we just hired a new coach who was at Canton South forever. Hopefully, he can turn things around.
Yeah.
He comes from a
basketball team any good?
They weren't this year. Yeah.
They've been okay over the years.
Yeah.
I know some kid broke my 100-meter dash last year record. It held for
like that, or are you pissed?
No, it was held for 20. It was 01 to 25 years.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's good run.
25 years. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Bull, real quick, if you were Kenny Atkinson tonight, and you knew this was a potential first-round matchup, you play them again on Friday. Whether you play guys, sit guys, whatever, would you show your hand in any capacity?
No.
Or are you playing this as vanilla as possible?
Vanilla as possible. I mean, I kind of want to just sit guys for the most part. And I know that, but I wonder, the players have so much power in the NBA more than any other sport. And if he went to Donovan and said, hey, I'm not playing you these games, what does Donovan say?
Well, I'm glad you said that because what I was going to say is, what does Donovan think? I think it matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And there's nothing wrong with saying, what do you think here, Donovan?
Yeah.
You might not get the final call, but this is the situation that we're in. Everybody knows it. These are the moves we've made. This is where we're headed the next weeks to months, hopefully.
Yeah.
What do you think? How would you handle these next
I
games?
would talk to him because you got to have buy-in from your best players in the NBA more than any other sport.
100%.
And so, and if I'm Kenny Atkinson and Donovan's like, I shouldn't play. We got to lose these games. I'd be like, okay, well, blame me. Hey, I'm benching you.
Right. You're in front of your home crowd tonight.
Yeah.
And you need to play your full lineup for the first time. It's a crazy stat.
Yeah.
Right? But in the second half, you don't have to.
Goodbye.
Am I crazy? Am I naive to think that Donovan doesn't really think like that? Am I just naive?
What do you mean? Like he's
like
thinking,
that he would. I can't imagine he'd ever go to the coach and be like,
yeah.
I don't think I'm not feeling it tonight.
He probably wouldn't.
But I don't think you're asking that. I think you're asking him what you think about this situation. We want to be the 4.
Yeah.
We've got these 2 games. We know Sunday's a laugher, and we probably wouldn't play guys anyway.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I don't think there's anything.
I guess I've just never in sports been in a situation like that where I can wrap my head around it. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's hard to as a competitor.
Yeah.
Think like we need to do X, Y, Z to make sure you get slotted. I've never been in a seating situation.
No. Now you could say, well, Donovan is a killer athlete. He's not going to want to say, we can't beat the Celtics or it'll be harder. On the other hand, he's also really smart. And he knows that they've disappointed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he might be, let the Knicks beat up on the Celtics first before we have to play them potentially.
Absolutely. And you know what? Like, you can't control who's at 5 and 6. And the Hawks are a dangerous opponent. So maybe you play tonight and let it play out.
Who is the 6th seed right now?
Philadelphia. Or Toronto. Hold on.
Yeah, it's really close. Toronto won last night. I think it might be them. But
it is Toronto by a game, but it's literally a game.
But it's still very much up in the air.
Yes. I mean, Toronto's 13 games back, or 1 game. We'll do it this way. They're 1 game back of Atlanta. Philadelphia and Orlando 2 games back of Atlanta, and Charlotte 2.5 games back of Atlanta.
All right. Well, and what's the Knicks' schedule the rest of the way besides the Celtics?
The Knicks are home for their final 3 games. They have Boston, Toronto, and Charlotte. So 3 playoff
They have a much
teams.
tougher schedule than the Cavs.
Tougher schedule.
But I don't know. We don't know what their motivation is.
Right, and you also don't know if Charlotte is in the play-in, then their guys aren't going to play Sunday.
That's true.
Is
Charlotte's
playing Tuesday.
What are they, 10 right now?
No, they are. Miami's basically locked in the 10. Charlotte's the 9.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So Charlotte could still get out of the play-in.
Charlotte can get out of the play-in.
Right, but by the time we get to that
they
last
lost
game,
last night. Yeah, so they get to the last game.
They may not. If they're locked into the play-in,
then they're not playing because the play-in's Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on where they're.
Are they going to play to get home court in the play-in? I don't think anybody's doing that for one game. I don't know. It is going to be interesting to see.
You would play
Charlotte's a fascinating team.
Well, they won a ton of games, right?
I mean, they're young. They play fast. They
shoot a lot of threes.
Shoot a lot of threes and nothing to lose. Those are dangerous teams.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked about how dangerous Philly is. Embiid and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey.
Although Embiid always in the playoffs.
Like there's so many tentacles to this thing.
Yeah.
You know, like the Cavs. The best thing for the Cavs is to play Atlanta in the first round. I feel strongly about that. I don't know how Kenny thinks or Kobe thinks or Donovan Mitchell thinks.
Right.
But I feel strongly right now that the Cavs doing what they have to do tonight and or Friday to ensure that they're the 4 and Atlanta the 5 is the best thing for the organization and their playoff chances.
I am very curious to see how Boston manages Jason Tatum's minutes in the postseason, because we are still talking about a human being that is coming back from an Achilles tear that was, 10 months removed.
Yeah.
Right? No human's really ever done this before. And when people have tried, they've re-injured it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You had an Achilles injury. I know you were not an elite athlete, but you know how difficult it is.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious to see how he comes out of a series where he may have to play.
That's true.
30+ minutes.
It's a great question, and it's the other fascinating part about this. If it's Boston-Philly in round 1, like why couldn't that series go 6 or 7?
100%.
Tatum could be strained. He could be playing 40 minutes a night trying to survive that
right,
thing.
and that's why
maybe they find out maybe he's not all the way back. Maybe after in these games are physical and it's 30+ minutes, dude. I just think
it's been so impressive what he's done so far.
It 100% is, but it's regular season. It's like a soft version of what we're going to see here before we.
And they do drag out these first round series with these long delays.
Right?
Sometimes,
So you got
It's still it's a totally different ask than he's been asked so far. Right? He came back. He played 20 minutes. Now he built up. But it has not been playoff.
No, it's true. It's going to be fascinating. So the later you potentially play Boston, the better it is. All right.